to be great, it's hard. Like at anything. I keep telling the people I work with, like, you don't want it enough. If you wanted it enough, you wouldn't be talking to me. You'd be like knee deep in the DAW. And I see it in the artists that I'm obsessed with now. I see the work in like their team. I see how like obsessed they are. I see the musicality. I see the genius, you know? And even Fred again, you just see Fred again on social media. The dude doesn't stop, you know? And that's the bar. At that company, I was running the music department, so I was able to work with a lot of top DJs, people like Aoki, Kaskade, Swedish Mafia. We helped break the Chainsmokers with that selfie video. I helped produce that. Marketing's a bunch of stuff, but I will say that like everything that I do and everything that I touch, marketing is kind of like the first thing that we're thinking about. Obviously, for my managed clients, it's the music first, but very shortly after there, I'm like, okay, now how do we sell this? How do we make this interesting?
What's up, guys? In today's video, you're about to watch a special guest call straight from inside of our Inner Circle community. Every month, I bring industry professionals in to talk with our artists, and this call was with Rami Pearlman, the co-founder of Space Yacht, one of the most respected event companies and labels in the EDM space. In this call, we talk about what actually makes an artist bookable, how to build a real relationship with a promoter without coming across as transactional, why technically great tracks still get passed on, and what to do instead to start getting booked in 2026. We usually don't share these calls publicly, but this call was too valuable not to share. So grab something to take notes with and enjoy the video. And leave a comment below on what your biggest takeaway was. All right, you guys, welcome to Pulse Check, July 20th, 2026. Got a very special guest in the house. Rami, what's up, bro?
Hey there, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little late. I was pretending to put my son to bed, but I just was like, yo, keep watching your program. I'm gonna go talk to some people, and then I'll get with you when I'm done. He's like, cool. So he's stoked.
Bro, no sweat at all, man. We're stoked to have you. So, dude, just kind of housekeeping. I have a bunch of questions for you, bro. So what we'll do is I'll run a bunch of questions, and then if there's time, man, we'll go to like just some hands and see if anyone else has questions for you. Cool.
Great. Yeah. Let's do it.
For anyone who may not know the full story, can you walk us through how Space Yacht went from a small Tuesday night party in Hollywood to becoming an events company, label, and nationally recognized dance music brand?
Yeah, I would love to tell that story. So my name's Rami, by the way, and some people know me as London Bridge. That's like my DJ name and kind of the name that's in these circles. And yeah, and my kind of story starts even before then. I moved to LA to pursue music, to be in an indie band. I was singing and writing the songs, and like my best friend had a studio out here, and this was back in like '03. So like having a studio at that time was a big deal, especially if you were in a band. So I moved out here and did that for a while, and then got into marketing as kind of my day job. I toured for about like 5, 6 years with that band, and then after that, it was like, okay, I gotta like figure out what I'm gonna do. And so I got into early social media company, like a startup. Kind of got my understanding of like marketing and brand building there, which is kind of the foundation of everything that I do, both in Space Yacht and the clients that I manage and all that stuff. So I worked there for a while. That startup was acquired by Disney, so I was able to work on very early social accounts for Disney on YouTube and Facebook, which was pretty crazy at the time, looking back. And then I left that company to help my other friends start a different company, which was focused on social for musicians, celebrities, etc. So anyone with major fan bases already, we were people to come in and manage this. And this was around 2010, 2011. So early days for the stuff that's commonplace now, right? Like us trying to convince people the value of having a Facebook page or an Instagram channel. To create revenue and all that stuff. So that's where I met Henry, my business partner for Space Yacht. And at that company, I was running the music department, so I was able to work with a lot of top DJs, people like Aoki, Kaskade, Swedish Mafia, a ton of stuff. We helped break the Chainsmokers with that selfie video. I helped produce that. Worked with Iggy Azalea, Pearl Jam. Like it was crazy. WME was like one of the investors. So our access to this talent and being the first people to be like, hey, this is the new shit. You're going to monetize. You're going to sell more tickets. You're going to sell T-shirts. Again, all stuff that we now know every day of the week, whatever. But we were early evangelists for that. So I tell you that backstory because it's crucial to kind of everything that we're doing. I met Henry, my business partner at that company. I wanted to be a DJ in terms of like shifting from being a singer-songwriter to being like, okay, well, I can produce. I learned Ableton, and I DJ'd in college, so I was like, I can figure this out. And so I was playing Henry. We'd be staying late, and I'd be playing him my music like late. We'd be the only two people at the office, be cranking stuff. And then I don't remember. It was probably over a whiskey or something. We were like, I was like, there's no more Tuesday night party here in LA. That was like Steve Aoki's thing. Like he always threw the Tuesday at Cinespace. That was the party for both bands that wanted to break and DJs that wanted to break. He really was the underground voice at that time. And I was like, he had just stopped doing it like 2 years prior. And I was like, there's a hole in the market. I want to be a DJ, like, so I'll play each one of these and help curate them. But like Henry had like the experience in throwing shows and managing some talent. So we just came together and did our first Tuesday. It was a smash, and the venue owner was like, make it a weekly. He's like, just do it, because it was a new venue. So that's how we started. We basically started doing Tuesdays for the company's 11 years old, but we did Tuesdays for 9 years straight, every Tuesday. Either there was three venues we were at, but we really were at Sound, which is kind of like was kind of our main hub. We moved there in 2016 and then stayed there until the end of the residency. And so every Tuesday we'd be showcasing new artists, both artists that were on tour or people that we fucked with, or somebody who wanted to do a special guest surprise appearance, or you know what I mean? Like we kind of served this interesting community function. You know what I mean? That's where we were in the ecosystem, was like, we're the people who see them first. We'll give you that show. It's a great look for you. Like we hope it's a nice stepping stone, and either Insomniac will find out about you or whatever. But basically that's like the function of what our brand does, is new talent, and that community of producers, DJs, artists, singers, etc. So yeah, so the company, so Space Yacht's been around for 11 years. We started the label portion of it during COVID, of course, and have signed over like 500 individual records to the label between compilations and singles and albums and stuff. And the events business has kind of grown from the LA Weekly, which we don't do the weekly anymore, but it's grown from that to now we do, shows at bigger venues out here. So in LA, it's Exchange, Academy, Avalon. Those are all like 1,200 cap rooms. And then we're in Seattle, Las Vegas. We have something in Denver this weekend. So basically taking the Space Yacht brand and being able to do curated parties where we're curating the lineup and promoting artists both from our label and outside. Like we're definitely big into like, oh, if we're in Seattle, get really dope locals, not just like, like someone who it's like, a hometown hero, somebody who like deserves to have like a little platform. So we definitely do a lot of booking where we're like going into cities and finding out who those people are, in addition to like our touring talent. And then on the other side of it, I manage a couple artists. I manage an artist named Crumpet. They're a duo, kind of drum and bass with a MC, and some dubstep thrown in too, but it's really cool act. And then I'm building a new act that hasn't launched yet called Zoto. It's more on the house music side of things. And we're doing kind of a gorillas kind of like we're doing a whole anime portion to the music. So the music will come out with the visual and be kind of that. It doesn't look like gorillas in terms of the style of animation, but it's very much like an animated thing that goes with music as like the project. So I'm working on that pretty heavily. And then yeah, we're signing stuff to the label and throwing 4 shows a week. We had 3 shows this weekend, one in Vegas. We did a pop-up at Mel's Diner on Sunset Boulevard, and then we had one in Seattle. So that's that's the long-winded version of who I am, where I come from, and how it all. Oh, one thing actually, sorry, just to tie the whole beginning together. Sorry, the marketing stuff that I learned at those gigs and the stuff that Henry learned as well. Henry was in the data section, and I was in kind of the more creative and organic social section. So that is like basically the building block of our brand. Like we're a marketing company if you think about it. It's like, yeah, we book shows and we're curating and we're a tastemaker or whatever, but like we live and die by the success of our marketing, whether that's digital or like in Vegas, we had people with flyers, outside of Live, and so marketing's a bunch of stuff. But I will say that like everything that I do and everything that I touch, marketing is kind of like the first thing that we're thinking about. Obviously, for my managed clients, it's the music first, but very shortly after there, I'm like, okay, now how do we sell this? How do we make this interesting? So yeah, so that's what's up with me.
Awesome, bro. I think the marketing perspective gives me just a little mindset of how to, kind of where I want to go with a lot of these
Yeah.
questions too, man. I like that you wrap it back around to that. Dude, I think it's interesting, man. Our stories are kind of similar just in the fact of I was a band and a singer before I even touched EDM at all. But dude, the other person who I think your story is similar to is Chris Alba. You
Oh,
probably
I mean, I don't know the story, but
so, dude, before he did the creative stuff, I don't know if you've seen what he's doing now, but dude, he had a weekly or a monthly at Avalon.
okay, got it.
So I'm like, bro, you're in Chris's story are kind of interesting too. Sweet, bro. And then yeah, man, I guess just to maybe connect everyone on how we connected, dude. I didn't even know that you were the owner of that. Like when we connected, bro, I was just like, I like this guy. He's talking like about stuff in the space and like
Oh,
he's so, dude, initially, bro, I was just like, this guy's cool. Like, I'm constantly, man, just wanting to connect with other people who are, speaking into the community and
yeah,
just about it. So, dude, like, just the vibe of, and then it makes sense figuring out like who you were and obviously, man, getting to meet at Apocalypse Fest was cool. And then you had that other connection with Mark. I think you were there literally the next night in Vegas.
we were in Vegas the next night, and I was having dinner with him, and I don't remember. I was just talking. You just came up in passing. You were in a picture or this or that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's my homie," and then he texted you. It's like
Dude, yeah,
nice.
I know, dude. I know Mark from Sacramento, which is crazy, bro. And I was in Sacramento like 10 years ago. That's where I grew up. So, dude, crazy mutual connection too, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, next time you guys have an event in Vegas, man, if I'm here, I'd love to come.
Yeah, I think the 22nd of August we will be there with Danson, who's a pretty sick house guy,
Okay.
producer, DJ from I believe he's from Toronto. He's from Canada. I don't want to misspeak in which city, but he's from Canada. But that'll be a good one.
Okay.
Good one.
Sweet,
Yeah.
dude. All right, bro. We'll keep rocking with the questions. Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. At what point did you realize that people were no longer just coming for the artists? They were coming because they trusted the Space Yacht brand itself.
That was that was pretty quickly with us. But I think a mixture of because we were kind of the only thing in town at the time. This is 2015. So when
Yeah.
we started those Tuesdays, it was like you also had like the right time, right place element of it. It was us and Brownies was doing stuff, but they weren't a weekly, but Brownies was very much like on our similar wavelength. And we had crossover with like those artists and those people, and we were friends with them and stuff. Um, but I think it was because of the booking and being able to book artists that were, Icon Music School was going on then too in LA, which was a huge just feeder system of talent, and there wasn't enough inventory for people to play. So that was another piece of it. It's like booking people who went to Icon who would bring all their friends, and all their friends are producers, and then you can book people, you know what I mean? And so this kind of web of network, and then it was also a bit of a industry hang too, which is kind of how we got the bigger artists to kind of show and pop up. Like the first 2, 3 years was a lot. Like every other show, there was somebody pretty major popping in and jumping on, and that's we started to kind of get the word of mouth there too. In terms of like go to Space Yacht, you don't know who you're going to see, both somebody you've never heard of and somebody you have heard of who might just jump on. Like there was that kind of energy to it too. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how it caught wind because very, very grassroots, very community. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I think there's different ways, all that stuff evolves, you know what I mean? So it's like now I think that energy is in the after scene in LA, at least. It's a similar situation where it's like they're booking the artists, they're putting them on the flyer, but all the artists are it's just kind of we're trusting you that it's gonna be fire. And LA has so many talented people in it that it is, you know what I mean? You can go to any of these afters and you're not seeing shitty DJs, you're seeing good DJs. So I think the energy that we had on the Tuesdays has really shifted to kind of the Friday and Saturday night afters downtown LA, which is dope. It's like an evolution. I mean, the culture is different too. The social media on the phones wasn't as present. It wasn't as heavy as it is now. You know what I mean? It was Instagram with like, oh, I posted a selfie. It wasn't like, full fucking like, TV shows on your phone, like, in your feed like that.
Yeah. Okay,
Different.
that kind of brings us to like, where we're getting relevant to these guys and girls in here. So when you're looking at an emerging artist for a Space Yacht event, what makes an artist feel genuinely bookable?
So
And then I'll ask a follow-up question before you answer that, Rami, is
yeah.
how much weight do you place in the music, local draw, social media, branding, professionalism, relationships, and the artist's actual live performance?
Got it. Well, how many people in the room are perform like live performers? Does everybody like DJ or do some sort of live situation or
Have, do, or are trying to.
have do or are trying to? Okay.
Yes.
Um, because yeah, I just want to tailor the stuff to kind of be as helpful as possible. I mean, I do, there's a certain amount of things that I look for. So like half of my day is booking. And what that means is I have a spreadsheet open of all the shows that I'm working on, the different genres that I'm working on, and then I'm like kind of scouring the internet. Like it's kind of it's a weird mode. Like I have to be in a certain mindset to like do it. But it's a mixture of certain sites that I look at, ticket history sites, obviously social and streams, but understanding that streams don't necessarily mean tickets, so I'm kind of looking at all these different data points. I think the most important thing for me is someone who looks active. So it doesn't matter if I've heard of you before. It's you need to look and feel active. So what does that mean? Well,
Hey, real quick, if you're getting value from this call with Rami and want to work more personally with me and my team, here's what we do. A lot of artists we work with are already making great music. What they're missing are the pieces that turn that music into a real career. We help you build an authentic brand from the ground up and a content system around it, so you can stop wondering what to post and start gaining real momentum. And the goal isn't just to post more, it's to make content feel like a natural extension of your art, because that's how you build an audience that actually knows who you are and has a reason to care when you drop something. If your music isn't quite there yet, we've got you there too. You get one-on-one sessions with professional producers to take your tracks from where they are now to mixed, mastered, and release ready. You'll also get access to our private artist community. Every week, just like this call, we bring in working artists and industry professionals to teach on content, branding, marketing, getting booked, and the whole business side of music. Plus, weekly music feedback calls with pro producers, and most importantly, a room full of artists building toward the same thing you are. But this isn't about giving you more information. All the advice in the world is useless if you never apply it. This is about coaching, accountability, and the right people around you, so you can become the artist who consistently does what it takes to build something real. So if you're serious about building an actual career from your music, not just making more of it, the link to apply is in the description. All right, now let's get back to the call with Rami.
hey dude, like I only am able to produce after work for a couple hours, or I don't have that much stuff. Like so that's where you got to just figure out what works for you. Like I'm sure it's been said in these rooms before, like the rules are the rules. Like you have to make content. I'm sorry, I get people's emotion about not
They
wanting to
know
do it.
that pretty well. I'm screaming
Yeah,
it every week, dude.
it just is what it is. I'm sorry. And then the clients I manage, I have to, they're one of the clients is very like, fuck this. And I'm like, then don't try to do this, or do it and don't worry about it making you money and like live your life and be an artist. That's totally fine. And I respect people who do that. But it is what it is. Sorry, the quick metaphor is like, you want to be a basketball player and all you can do is free throws. You can't dribble. You can't do you're the best free throw shooter in the world. You fucking hitting free throws, but you can't do any of the other stuff. The other stuff, you need the other stuff to be a basketball player. You don't make the rules on like, but I'm just going to shoot. So that's how I try to use that metaphor so people can understand. It's like, oh, it's just is what it is. So sorry.
No,
So
bro, that's one of the metaphors I use too. The other metaphor that I like, especially as I talk to artists about our program, is like an artist is a fighter, okay? And a fighter, let's say it's a UFC fighter, at a professional level, they're gonna have a manager, they're gonna have an agent, they're gonna have a lawyer, they're gonna have a publicist, they're gonna have sponsors, right?
yeah,
But if they go in the ring and they get knocked out, it's like, dude, everyone's fired. Their job is useless, right? So it's like,
right.
from my perspective, okay, what are the skills that a fighter needs to have, right? Let's say music is boxing and content, branding, it's like all the other stuff. And so who are they with most of the time? They're with someone helping them with all those skills and they're in the gym. So bro, like
In
an
the
easy
gym,
way
yeah.
to think about even this program is like, dude, I'm the coach or the trainer and we're in the gym right now.
I love it. Yeah, 100. No, and you're 100% right. I talk a lot about Kobe Bryant. Like the Mamba mentality shit is like real in terms of the level of intensity that you need to have about your project, whether you're a performer, a behind the scenes producer, writer who's just trying to get your shit signed to other artists, whatever, wherever you fit, to be at the top has to have that type of focus because when you look at these people who are that successful, like that, when we're talking about, okay, think of like, your top one or two artists that you look up to, we're like, it's like really rarefied air to get to that level. Like it's kind of fucking crazy. Like that anyone could get, so for me, like I'm a huge house music fan. So Chris Lake is a great example of the person who would probably represent like to get so Chris Lake. that motherfucker, he spent a million years in the studio and still does, right? So it's like it does Mike, I don't question why Chris Lake is where he is because I'm like, that guy is a in the gym reps dude. Also fantastic, talented and musical, all the other like intangibles that you can't put in, but it's the hours logged, you can tell. Obviously Skrillex, obviously Freddie, and those people are in my universe where I'm like, well, yeah, like they're like I look at them, I'm like, of course they're successful. They're the people who are fucking obsessed and mental about it. You know what I mean? So back to the question though. So that's one thing is you got to have that eye of the tiger, Lady Gaga, whatever, whoever your person is. So I want someone to look active. I can look at their channel like on Instagram and be like, okay, they only have 1,000 fans, but like who's commenting on the posts? Oh, these other DJs are commenting. Okay, there's a little stamp of approval there. Okay, like what's going on SoundCloud? Oh, I don't really care about the plays, but the music's fire. Oh, this one actually has some plays. These only have a couple hundred, but this one for some reason has 5,000. Interesting, something there. So I'm like looking, then going to Spotify and being like, okay, cool. They have streams. They don't. I don't really care. Like where are the streams from? So you could have a lot of streams, and I'm going where are the streams from, and if they look bunk, I'm gonna be like, I don't care about. You know what I mean? So streams can work for and against you. You know what I mean? Because people look at that shit, even though I don't want it to be that way because it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, get me a million streams in fucking some random place that doesn't apply to me. But you know, so the point is, I'm looking at all these things, and I'm really looking for, of course, I want the music to be poppin' and like fresh. You know, kind of have a statement, like have something to say. Like I feel really strongly about that. Like I'll see these small producers and I'm like, I can already see that person has something to say, in the music and the way they're talking about their own music. You can have 1,000 fans. I don't if you have authority with it and it's dope, I'm right there with you. You know what I mean? Even if it's 1,000 fans, even if it's not, so I will definitely say just because you have 50,000 fans on Instagram or 100,000 plays on Spotify, that is not like an automatic, like you're now above someone with lower numbers for me. Now, that's specific to like the opener slots. If it's the headline slot, then it's not just social media at all, but it's do you have the real buzz? Do you have the juice? Are you getting booked? Is Adam at Day Trip booking you? Are you, if you're a bass artist, are you getting booked on these festivals? Who's fucking with you? And that's a different situation for kind of like once you've kind of moved over. And I don't really think that applies to most of us. You know what I mean? I'm just looking for activity. So, and then you know, does it look like you party with a bunch of friends? Like, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't care about if you can bring your friends. Like, I'm like, I want, and if I look through the Instagram, I'm like, okay, this person looks cool, the music's cool, it's not corny because I'm like on the lookout. I'm like, if it's corny, like I just can't. Um, and wow, like they're at this pool party. It looks like there's a bunch of people. Oh, I see these same people. Oh, okay, he or she rolls with a squad. Like I like that is something I'm looking at. Doesn't mean I'm not going to book you if you're all by yourself in your photos or if, like it's not like that at all. But this person looks lonely as fuck. I'm not gonna. No, it's not at all how it is. But just activity. Yeah. By the way, you look at these viral videos of some just genius person making some amazing music in their room. Like so if the music speaks, the music speaks, and I'm there for it. So anyway, so hopefully you can take from that, like, that's what I'm looking for. That's what record label people are looking for. That's what, other promoters, other venues, like I'm speaking kind of as a mouthpiece for kind of anybody in the music industry. We're looking for activity. We're looking to like see if you're a self-starter by the fact that you are making content, you know. And that's those are the things I look for sure.
Dude, that is some sauce. Rami is the like, yo, you got to look like you have some friends and you bring a crew.
Well, so here's an example. You know where I care about that? I care about that for my pool parties because we do a pool party series that we've been doing for like 5 years. I care about that for like afters, like we're doing these the Vegas shows are like late night 1 to 6. So I do actually care because those are less headliner driven and more like we're at a fucking awesome, we're at a sick pool in Beverly Hills. You know what I mean? Like that's the sell. So for those shows, I am kind of looking for that. But again, like I'd say like I booked this last show we did at the pool. It's like two of the people were just like dope, and they brought a couple people, but I didn't care. I was like, it's fine. I want them to be on the lineup to get the content because that's another thing we're like offering. Like when I'm offering someone a show, I'm not only offering like the opportunity, but I'm like, yeah, get content, or we'll be doing a 360 shoot, and share that with them. So it like becomes it's not just about the show. It's the show plus the content you get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We'll keep it going.
Yeah.
Let's say an artist has strong music, but very few bookings and no meaningful local draw yet. What would you tell them to focus on over the next 90 days to become more attractive to promoters? And then the follow up to that is, what evidence would you want to see 3 months from now that would make you take that artist more seriously?
I love it. That's a great question. I love it because it's so relevant. Uh, like I literally am having this conversation right now with one of my artists because they've been on the road for the last 6 months, which has been really successful for them. But we have 2 months off, and I know they're like chomping at the bit, being like, "Hey, what's up with the shows? Like, what's up?" And I told them today, I was like, yo, you need more juice like in content and whatever because they're really good at content. It's just a volume thing. And I'm like, bro, if you guys could do 2 or 3 times the amount, and it's not that much that they're doing. So, but I'm like, if we just focus on that and the music instead of being on the road and how tired you are or whatever, it's a good usage of our time. So going to now to your question is like, you don't have a local job. The digital is everything, man. I don't know what to say, and I hate to sound cliche, but the digital is everything because and my wife pointed out to me about this act. She's like, why do you need to get them shows if like she's like do the shows when they're in demand. Somebody comes with an offer, which we've been blessed with that. But she's like, if someone's not coming with an offer, she's like, why? She's like, you need to be more viral. She works at one of the agencies. She reps huge YouTube, TikTok talent, like 20, 30 million type people, and she does brand deals. So her digital, she sees it. You know what I mean? She sees it at the top level of like, if you do digital right, you can monetize it, you can sell tickets, you can build a brand, you can do all these things you want to do, right? So from when she's saying to me, like it was an aha moment for me where I was like, oh shit. She's like, yeah, put that energy into digital and just whether it's more music videos, comedy skits, whatever they do. So we have a whole basically we had a whole meeting today talking about that. Tomorrow I'm going to sit with Darren, who does all of the content and co-manages the project with me. We're literally taking the entire day to look through all the tour footage and be like, okay, what can we help them with? We're gonna make some stuff with this or whatever. So we're putting the energy into that. And so I would say to you guys, it's like just do it. And I think that it's fair to try things and say that's not for me. So I think give yourself some grace in terms of the things you try. So you'll be like, man, I don't want to do a fucking how this is made, or I don't want to do a lip sync video. Then don't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's up to you on how you want to present these things. You could fucking, talk about you could play your music and be like, I'm gonna draw a stick figure version of what like this music is. It doesn't. I'm just saying it could be literally any bad idea or whatever idea. And by trying a lot of things and failing, you're gonna stumble onto something that works. And by the way, what does works mean? Works can mean lots of views, or works can mean that you fucking love it and that you're gonna keep making those videos because you fucking love to do it. You unlock something in yourself that you're like, I like this. So like I have a lot of videos I do like if you don't know my videos, I do a lot of like shit talking, like silly, like it's very tongue in cheek, like taking the piss videos. It's food and it's music and whatever. All of my videos are silly, but my stuff that was more rage baity, like a year ago, got the millions of views. I got crazy views, but I stopped doing those because I was like, I don't care that my channel's growing. It's growing for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? And so then so my videos get less views now, but they're very true and authentic to me. I'm not selling music. My videos aren't about me as an artist or whatever, but I went through the process of being an artist, which is I'm trying some shit. I like this. Oh, this got a lot of views, but I'm not really comfortable. Like sometimes I'd be like, man, thinking about that video all day, being like, it's getting views, but people are mad in the comments. That makes me feel like shit. Archive it. It's not for me. You know what I mean? So I know what the feeling of the process is. You gotta, just like you sit down in front of your computer to make music or your guitar or whatever your instrument is. Um, just sitting down and trying things is kind of prerequisite if you're trying to be a public facing artist. If you're behind the scenes, like, songwriter or producer, it's not as dependent, but I think it's even important for that too. You know what I mean? It's like even on the base level, if you're a songwriter, well, you do want a photo of you writing with some whoever fancy person in Nashville or whoever it is that you know what I mean? That's important for your resume. So I actually think social, even if you're a behind the scenes producer, writer person, is still relevant. Um, anyway, I could talk about that for hours, but that's
Dude,
my two.
Rami, so bro, like the people who've been here forever, it's like what I've realized, and I think this is even what I would tell you as a manager with like Crumpet or whoever is, dude, it's reminders. It's like constant reminders of the truth and
Mm.
what is important. And dude, I was even uh one of the guys in Crumpets, what's his dad?
Oh, Darren. Yeah, Darren.
Dude, he's
Yeah,
awesome. So I
the
was talking
best.
to him and I was even like,
The
yo,
best.
if your boys need any help with like the content mindset, like bro, and Rami, I'll just tell you, dude, please hit me up because dude, the mindset, the perspective on why it matters, how you connect your brand to this is why we're doing this in the first place. Yeah, content might suck, but let's remember why we're doing this and what we're trying to do. Okay, content's just the bridge. And then let's connect the brand to the content and go, let's put on the glasses of that's our brand and then go look at content and go, okay, well, we actually like that. That's cool. We feel like that resonates with our brand. And if you tie your brand letting it reveal what kind of content you should post, tied with our brand's actually why the hell we're doing this in the first place and what this means to us. Dude, because my goal for everybody, bro, and I'll just tell you this to you, like if you were an artist on a call, Remy, I was like, what do you get if you join or work with me? It's like I'm trying to get all these guys and girls to the point where making content just feels like an extension of their art. Because what do we
Hmm.
know? If your music is good and you get in the process and that becomes a thing, like this is just who I am, dude, you can create whatever you want. Right.
Yeah.
So that is like the perspective. And so, dude, I just stop
Yeah.
right now to point that out and just tell you the coolest thing about having every single guest that we've had on, and we've had some really, someone else is about to be like, dude, there's so many calls we have, and someone's like, that was the best call yet. But someone else is going to go, dude, no, this was the best call yet. But dude, what happens constantly, and I just wanted to point this out, is dude, it's all the same stuff. Like every single person who actually knows what they're talking about, who has like clout or like, it's like, dude, it's the same stuff. And so it's just in this moment, bro, like I bring people in here, not necessarily because I think they're going to learn something new. Well, we do know a little bit more about how to get booked for Space Yacht. Like make sure you look like you have some friends, but most
That's
of this,
not the main, that wasn't
no,
the
I
main
know.
point.
I'm just picking that out. I know,
But
but
yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good, but it's not
but
the
yeah,
main.
so but dude, most of this, bro, is just reminders from different voices to just grill it into
Yeah.
anything, bro.
Yeah. No, 100%.
What do you wish more artists understood about the promoter side of the business, the economics, ticket sales, marketing, risk, and everything that goes into giving someone a slot? And then where do artists sometimes have unrealistic expectations about what a promoter or event company should do for them?
I think the main thing is to understand that like a promoter doing a good job at promoting is like icing on the cake for you. Like that's how you should approach it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So if you get on a show, and let's say Space Yacht has you on a show, and you're playing whatever slot, any opening slot, whatever. Um, if I was an artist, I still am like working my ass because I also DJed for a really long time too. So I like working your butt off to like text your homies, have dinner before to see if you can bring a squad of 10. You know, it's like yeah, so that's how I would approach it because I think that promoters see that, right? So it's like, and I'm not saying it's a prerequisite. If you only hang with two or three people, I'm not asking you to go like find 30 people. It's not like that. It's more just like again, this goes back to like being active. And I'm telling you 100%, I see that. Let's say I book someone for the 9 o'clock slot and no one's there, but there are crews there of 5 to 10 to whatever people there, and they're engaged, and the person is performing even though it's not full yet. And I'm seeing all these different cues where I'm like, all right, I see what you're doing. You're serious, you know. And obviously, everybody has a different perspective on that. I definitely know there's promoters who are like, no, no, I just care about how many people you can bring. Like I have like this kind of hybrid. But the thing is, the whole how many people you can bring, it's not true because I'm never gonna not book you because you didn't bring a bunch of people. If you brought no one and you ripped and were awesome, I'm
Yeah.
booking you again. Like that's so I just want to make that really clear. Like that's not the prerequisite. But I'm saying putting my manager hat on, putting my artist hat on, if I was to approach it, yeah, I want to be like, yeah, I roll with the crew because I know that's important to the promoter regardless, you know, and if I'm a good DJ or singer or whatever I'm doing, great. And then being kind and fun and like hanging at the show. Like the show is also part of you're opening a networking door to yourself by getting the show. So you get the show, you're then there with the promoter and the other artists and whatever, and then you can use that as an opportunity to kind of build a network. Let's say you know no one, but you got on this show. Now your job is to be like, cool, all right, I don't have much local stuff. I don't have much going on. Okay, I can meet these people and start with these people. You know what I mean? What did you do? Okay, you can just leave it. All right, sorry. No harm, no foul. So by the way, I still look at it like that too. So this is kind of just a tip in general in terms of thinking about the networking side is like the show is a networking opportunity, especially even if you're the opening person. Like you'd be like, fine, it doesn't matter if there was 10 people there or nobody in the hall yet because it was early. I'm gonna hang out all night. I'm gonna talk to the promoter. I'm gonna thank the promoter for having me. I'm gonna meet the other artists. And then you can kind of build from that. So I'm kind of speaking to the person who like it, like literally, if you're starting from zero and you're like, yeah, my friends don't go out and I don't have that, because it's easy for me to be like, do all that. Some people don't have that. That's okay. It's like, okay, then figure out a way to get the promoter's attention, DM the promoter who like runs the party, DM the venue, whatever you need to do, and try to get on that show. And once from that show, kind of start to build from there. So that would be my advice for if you're starting from zero. Remember, it's record label and promoters' jobs to like listen to your music and find new people. At least it's me and like it's my job. So don't be annoying, of course, but like you have to reach out. I'm not going to know necessarily. Like maybe I'll stumble upon you, but I'm not, if you hit me up and the music's good, I'm like, okay. Like, and it might be not an instant booking. It might be like, hey, come to the show. I'd love to meet you. And I hang out with that person. I'm like, oh, that person's cool. All right, cool. For me, booking a lot has a lot to do with like the hang. If I just ran into like a lot of people get booked because I like ran into you at the party, either hadn't seen you in a while or just met you, you were super cool, this and that, some sort of cue about the music that you're interested in, like cool. You know what I mean? Like that for me is a big part of it. And I think for a lot of promoters, at least on the early slots, like if you're trying to get that opening slot or that second slot in, a lot of those slots are relationship based as well. So, you know, don't
Dude,
be,
that was literally my next question, bro. So I'm going to ask this. If you feel like you answered it, cool. If you want to expand on it, cool.
yeah,
So, what's the right way for an emerging artist to build a relationship with you guys or any promoter without immediately asking for a booking or coming across as transactional? What are some outreach approaches besides what you already said that actually work, and what instantly turns you off? Maybe that's a good, yeah.
totally. No, these are all they're all related, but I would say that I mean, again, leading with the music, like it's all good to hit up a promoter and
Well, like,
even
is it,
be
bro? Is it a cold email? Is it a DM? Is it
it can
like,
be yeah,
you
cold
know?
email is fine and DM can be fine too. I mean, look, you can be ignored on both platforms or responded to on both platforms. So, if I don't want to hit you back, it doesn't matter where you hit me. But no, I look. But then sometimes persistence is great. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, you got me. Okay, you were persistent, or you were funny, or you were like got me on a day where I wasn't like annoyed at everything. It's like it also depends. Remember, think about how you open your emails. Like if you're in a bad mood and open a specific email, it might go over differently just because you're in a crummy. So I think, but don't be afraid to cold email because remember, it's these people's jobs to kind of find music or whatever. So it's like so for me, for Space Yacht, I think, hitting our promo inbox on the email, which is available. If you know my email somehow, it's okay. I'm not offended if someone random's like, hey, I want to send you some music from me or from my artist or whatever. Like that doesn't offend me. That's fine. Um, and then, you know, feel the vibe in terms of like how the follow up is. Like I'm okay if someone follows up once if I hadn't gotten back to them. And it's like I guarantee you if they follow up again, I'm probably gonna listen. I'm gonna because I'll be like, oh, I didn't listen to that. Okay, I'll listen. So I'm like, I'm not offended. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but read the room, like because you're there's always a balance. You don't want to be like too pushy or this or that. Like it's hard, right? Because you want to look active, but you don't want to be overly, too much, and you want to be cool, but you don't want to be too cool. It's a lot of conflicting things that we're asking you to do. So, but look, make great music. Let your music speak. If you have a brand view of like if your Insta or your images or your thing, let's say like everything you do is in black and white, I'm gonna see that and be like, cool. They have a viewpoint of like a style. You know what I mean? Like I like that. I appreciate that. Um, those would be the things I'm kind of looking for. Did I miss anything in that question?
No, dude, I think that's good, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you told them exactly what to put in the email, but I'm gonna leave that up for a little
Oh,
mystery on that.
keep your emails short. Keep your emails short. 3 sentences, link. And always check your link before sending. Always check your link before sending because I know if the link doesn't work, I'm not. You sent me the wrong link. I'm not emailing you back to be like wrong link. Like what? or assume. Like sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. I'm not that savage. Like I do try to listen to everything,
Okay.
but not everybody does. And so always check your links. SoundCloud is good to send music by because you can see who opened it, and you with Dropbox you don't get that data. You know what I mean? Or at least I don't. Maybe there's some sort of higher price thing that shows you the data, but SoundCloud at least you see who's able to
Yeah.
who's opening it and if somebody's played it or whatever. And then yeah, and what I like is just, hey, I'm blah blah blah. I make this blah 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 music. If you have some sort of connection to something, if you're like, my homie blah 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 played for you. I was at that show. Great party. Here's some of my music. Link. I don't want me personally. I don't need an EPK with all the shit because your Instagram or your Spotify should have all of your links to all your shit. So if you're doing it right, it doesn't matter what link because I'm going to find it all. So I would say Instagram with a link tree. Link tree is going to get everything there, but also make sure on your Spotify, on your SoundCloud, everything also links back to, and just make, if your circle is tight, cool. Just send me a SoundCloud link. I'm good with that. If you send me a Dropbox link, then yeah, send me your Instagram too, just so I have some sort of point of entry into your universe. So that's actually what I would say is important. You need some sort of entry into your universe. That's what I would ask for. So if it's a playlist of Dropbox stuff you don't want on SoundCloud, fine, that's fine. Then I'll need another link, whether it's a link tree or.
You've talked in the past about how Space Yacht's philosophy is like music first, right? And you kind of mentioned that. But what separates a good demo from a record you can clearly envision signing and supporting?
A great question, important question. I think you can really hear craft when someone sends you a great demo. What does that mean? Like you can hear sound design, production, songwriting, overall taste in the vibe, whatever it is. So I really think it's just about, like, if you're gonna send music for someone to listen to, a booker, a label person, like, have you put, like, ask yourself, have you put in the 10,000 hours? Is this your best stuff? Is this stuff that has gotten good feedback from all of your peers whose opinions you respect? And by the way, even then, don't necessarily listen to them. People blow smoke regardless. It's you gotta love it, right? But I think that's the thing, because when somebody sends me a demo, again, they don't have to be huge on social, but if I hear 4 records, and by the way, I don't need 20 songs. I need 4. That's all I need to hear to understand. If I hear 4 records and it's just like, oh wow. And by the way, in any genre, because our label puts out dubstep, we put out house, we put out pop records, like, so I'm listening for a lot of different things. Um, but I'm listening for craft ultimately, whether I'm like thinking, I'm not thinking in my head, oh, I'm listening to the craftsmanship of this thing, but that's what speaks through. It's like, oh, okay, this person knows how to produce. This person knows how to songwrite or sing or connect to all those things. And that can be from a bedroom producer who's just doing Ableton or whatever, or that can be from someone who's in a fancy studio. I think. Also, you just know. I mean, the bar's so high. Think about how much like, I would usually be cursing now. Think about how much music we hear that's kind of garbage. Like we're too. It's good to be nice. So I'm not saying we're too nice to one another, but there's just so much. Even today, I was listening to one of the huge Spotify playlists, this house playlist. I'm like, this is it. This is the top 10 of this playlist that is like influencing. I'm like, this is the most basic 90s house stuff that is good, but it's just good. Like and even then it's like, okay, so that's your top bar. Okay, then I don't even know. So it's I will say the thing that all those records have in common is they have hooks, whether it is a singing hook or a line melody or like a melody hook or a beat hook. Just they all have that moment, that sing along moment. And so there's maybe the bar also for if we're talking about when you're submitting music and like when do you, it's like, are your records, do they really have the hooks? Do they have those memorable moments? Again, doesn't have to be a pop record. It can be a rhythm record, which is like for those that know, rhythm is like a genre of dubstep that is very minimal and very weird and whatever. But I'm looking for hooks when I hear rhythm records, because there are hooks. There are certain styles of chops and the way that where it's like, oh, that's catchy. And someone who doesn't know the music might be like, that just sounds like a bunch of machines. And it's like, yeah, it sounds like gears grinding, but it's fucking catchy. You know what I mean? So that's, I think just being like always listening to your records, being like, is this catchy? No matter what it is this catchy? Are we? So those are the things I look for. Anyway, let's do some questions. I would love to.
Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey man, thanks a lot for doing this, man.
Of course.
Appreciate it. So it's funny that you mentioned the Steve Aoki party thing, and then you guys started the party because So I used to work at DimMac
Oh,
in like
there you go.
2017. And
Yeah.
like yeah, so like when I worked there, my boss, Lauren, was like, dude, you should go to this Tuesday like industry night at Space Yacht thing, like it's really dope like networking opportunity and stuff. So I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So I went to one, a couple of them actually, while you guys were still putting them on. And I was like, this is sick. Like, I wasn't even that like big of an artist yet. I was
Mm.
in college. But like it was my internship, and so I was like, dude, this is really cool. And then I don't remember how long ago you guys stopped doing them, but I feel like I've really been missing that like industry night in LA type thing where it's like
Mm.
a room or a party that's more geared towards like the industry and not just like casual people.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you maybe knew anything like that in LA that still exists, like after your thing got shut down or whatever, like whether it's you guys or someone else. Like I'm just looking for more like kind of industry nights that are similar to that, where I can just
Yeah.
meet people, connect with people in the
I
industry, stuff
think
like that.
I think Blind Tiger is a good place for that. Those are like the homies and kind of like they do the afters, but they have kind of taken that place of us in terms of like it's a place where you just show up and you're meeting DJs and everybody. It is late, so it's an after thing. But Blind Tiger I think does that the best. Yeah, I mean for Space Yacht now I will admit that community aspect isn't as prevalent because we just do these big like super club shows. They're not these intimate things. I also think that it's hard. The economics of doing an industry night is very difficult. If you're not just like starting out, because if you're just starting out and it's not about the money and you're not trying to pay your mortgage by doing that, then yeah, industry night, great for your network. You're building your stuff, and that's how we built it. And it was never about money at all until we were like, oh, we should make this into like an actual business. But it was always just about the hang.
Mhm.
Um, but I do think it's harder because the economics of opening up a venue, staffing, all that stuff, it's just everything's very expensive. And those nights are better when they're free or $5 or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's when you get
Yeah.
people who are just like rolling up. But I would try Blind Tiger. I love those guys. Great people who run it. They're definitely like have their hand on the pulse of LA Underground and like the scene for sure.
That's also a sound, right?
They do it once in a while at Sound, but they have a venue downtown. Like they actually have a space that's like their spot.
Okay.
So yeah,
Got you.
so definitely check
For
them out.
sure. Thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna go Brandon, then Max.
Hey, what's up, Rami? My name
It's
is Brandon. Go
Brandon.
by artist name is Muela. It's just my last name. Doesn't no meaning behind it at all. But yeah, dude. First off, I just want to say, my first Space Yacht party was like 2018 in Long Beach at like it was like a boat party, and I
Hell
think
yeah.
you had like Rhythm on the first floor, and then Tech House on the second. Yeah, it was so much fun. We
That's
went
how
from
we do
like
it. That's how I was there because I was I've been every one of those. So
yeah. So I've actually seen you like in person.
oh hell yeah.
Yeah. So um, I do have friends. I went with friends, just so you know.
Oh hell yeah. Bring
I'm
the
just kidding,
friends.
man.
Bring the
But
friends.
um, but yeah, dude. So my DJ project. I'm working hard. Starting to get some local shows here, and I live in
I'll just
Fresno.
say, dude, I'll just say Brandon's been killing it, Rami. And that's what
Yeah,
I want
okay.
him. I wanted him to ask this specific question that he has for you.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So Zack did me a favor. Sent one of my demos to you. But I'd be happy to send it to like your email personally, and
I definitely listened to it. I think I listened to it. Hold on, I have it in the. I listened to it. I need to play it now to remember what it was, but
Yeah, we
I
want to hear some
Cool.
thoughts if you feel like it's up there, man, and there could be something with it.
I will listen to it again. I think I did listen to it. I'll listen to it again and I'll let you know what the vibes are for sure.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. How can I?
Do you live in Long Beach or in the area or where do you live?
So I actually live. I'm based out of Fresno, but
Oh, nice.
I'm from the Bay Area, and
Hell
then
yeah.
so I have a show in Sac this weekend and a show in Fresno. So like I'm able to go,
Nice.
up north or south. So
There's a lot of good house guys in Fresno. We've like met along the way. And there's also a guy from on our label called Maneki.
Maneki, yeah, yeah,
Maneki. Yeah.
he's in San Jose.
Yeah, he's super sick, and we met him up there too. Really good dude. So sick
Cool,
meaning
cool,
good, meaning he's really good. Yeah. All right.
cool, cool. Right on. So
All right,
how can
brother.
I?
Yeah, no, I will. I'll definitely give it a listen and DM me on Instagram.
Right
And
on. I appreciate
just
you.
to
Thank
London Bridge Music. To my personal.
Sounds good. Right on. Thank you so much.
Cool, brother. Of course, of course.
Yeah, you guys, and Remy, bro, like I told you, man, when we met, I'm trying to connect not only just as this, but bro, just as a place that's developing artists. And dude, I wouldn't send anything to you or anybody else that I didn't think has potential.
Oh,
But
cool. Yeah, no, I'm
you
here.
guys have been killing it, dude.
Listen, it's my
Um,
job to listen to music and hear stuff and give feedback. It's my job.
okay, Max, go ahead.
Okay. So there's like massive house scene everywhere right now. House tech, it's like so freaking gigantic,
Yeah.
and a lot of us, well, a good chunk of us here, we're starting to get a much more diversified group. But we do like melodic bass, like more like euphoric, melodic driven music,
Hmm.
more in the like 140 to 160 BPM range.
Yep.
And I have definitely shifted my mindset to seeing this as an opportunity more than like oh dang it shoot it's not my moment kind of situation.
Well, you
Um
mean you feel like people aren't booking that style as much, or
it's just like there's not like many like local shows where it's like
right?
this is local put on by a local DJ where other local DJs are going to be playing, whereas like the house space has a lot more like opportunity for that,
Yeah, I
which
feel
is
you.
great for the getting that initial like content of you playing a show put up, like really just allows you to build that community in a much more like natural grassroots way before you start getting onto those like main stages.
Right.
um but I do see it as an opportunity. I like have a business minor from school. I love marketing. Like I love all this stuff, and I love that you love it. And that's why I'm asking this question. You are needing to like, let's say, start another organization that is more focused in this space that doesn't really have a massive draw behind it. What are some, I guess, like sale points that you would really hit to kind of really bring the relevance of that back to the like center, like the center of like the conversation more? Like what are some like ways you would maybe go about marketing this, even though it's not like the mainstream, to just like make it
Got it. So you're
yeah,
okay. I mean, you want to play to the niche, like you want to lean into the niche, right? Because you're
yeah,
saying it doesn't have as much of a moment. And I get where you're coming from on this because one of the acts that I manage is a drum and bass act. So even though people like drum and bass, there isn't as much inventory to
yeah,
go.
I know, which is fine, but
So I do think it goes back to online in terms of whether you're promoting the show or just making the show online first, because the economics are the economics, which is like the economics are hard for parties in general. If it's just you and you have a community of these types of producers where you're all like trying to come together, that's a good way to do it because then you can all play and then you're not all being like, oh, I need $500 to play. It's like, no, you all play for the love and like whatever the money comes in, you reinvest it into that. And I do think you already have the inclination. It's like you got to start your own scene. Like that was part of my starting Space Yacht was like I didn't want to ask people if I could play their shows. I had that
yeah,
experience in the band, and it drove me crazy. Where I was like, I can't control my own destiny here. I'm like, yeah, we can in a second. I can't control my own destiny. I need to, and so Space Out was like, okay, I'll just do my own thing. And I opened every show, by the way. That's where I got my chops as a DJ. Like I played to no one for a year because people would come, but they'd come at 11. I played at 9.
yeah,
So that also for me was okay. I knew that. I was like, it's cool. It's cool. Like I'm gonna get really good as an artist, like DJing. Like so when I can play a year from now when I'm trying to get these bigger shows, I'm prepared. I'm ready for the moment. So I think looking at it that way is a good. So I would do that, and then also just the digital, like for if it's niche, people on Twitch love niche. People on Reddit love niche. From a digital standpoint,
yeah,
do it with your friends, do it small, but people can find you if you're consistent. I have a friend who runs the biggest VR club and in VR chat, which is a very specific crowd who use VR chat. And then musically, they like kind of leaned into a very industrial thing, and they've created a huge fan base, and it's all just because they hyper niched. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So I think that's kind of my short answer to kind of the question. It's like, you got to just speak to your audience and just know it's going to be small to start, and then hopefully you stumble on a lot of people like it, and
yeah.
it blooms like a flower. You know what I
No,
mean?
that's awesome.
I've got time for one more.
Yeah, no, for sure. What's up, Rami?
Hey,
It's Marcus.
what's up, dude? How are
Yeah,
you?
it's been a while,
Good to
huh?
see you. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been making some like melodic techno and stuff. Maybe I'll send it to you so you can check it out. But
For sure.
I just wanted to like say hi and
Nice.
it's really cool that you're on here. I didn't know that you were gonna be like one of our guest speakers until like last minute. So it
Awesome.
was actually kind of cool to hear of like the come up of Space Yacht because as long as I've known you, I haven't heard of the stuff that you were up to back in like 2010 to 2015 and stuff. So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense with what Space Yacht turned into and what you guys were doing down there on Tuesday nights. So
Yes.
a
Yeah.
lot of work, a lot of like precursor stuff that went into that. So
A lot,
um,
yeah. My career is very serendipitous, and there's no trajectory to it. And but when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, all these things led to even being in the band and like having the band fail. Like, I mean, we had good moments, but you know what I'm saying? Like, even that thing where it didn't go the way I wanted to led to other things. So that's what I'd say to kind of everybody's journey here. It's like you can't control the journey, and you don't even know the journey never ends. Once you get to that big thing that you thought was such a big thing, you're going to be like, no, I need this. It's like, you guys know what it's like. It's like collecting Pokemon cards. There's never, you gotta catch them all. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know if that was way of a
All right,
Pokemon.
Rob. One selfish one for me, bro. I always ask this at the end of the calls, even on sometimes do the podcast, and
Yeah.
you can make this a really short one. So let's imagine for a second your favorite artist to come is in their bedroom right now. They're like 18 years old, okay? And you could send them a message, but your message is going to help dictate whether they actually become successful or not. If you could send them a message like on a tape recorder, they put in and it says something to like help them get to the place where you discover them one day because they're going to be your favorite artist, what do you tell them?
No days off. No days off. Work every day. Every day. You have to work so much harder. Sorry, don't make me rant right now, but no, but here's the reality, guys.
Give it to us.
You have to work so much harder than you think you need to work. It is so hard to do, and everything's hard. I was thinking about this today because I had a very hard day. It was like everything's hard, and I'm like, you know what? Like to be great, it's all hard. Like at anything, to be great at anything, and it's like I keep telling the people I work with, like you don't want it enough. If you wanted it enough, you wouldn't be talking to me. You'd be like knee deep in the daw. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and I see it in the artists that I'm obsessed with now. Like, like I don't know if you guys know like Catrell and Paco Amoroso, who are like had a huge, bless you, huge come up. Like they're from Argentina, beautiful. They had that Tiny Desk. If you see the Tiny Desk, you'll be like, oh, that band, even if you haven't heard them. And I see the work in like their team. I see how like obsessed they are. I see the musicality. I see the genius, and the amount of, and even Fred again, you just see Fred again on social media. The dude doesn't stop, and that's the bar. And don't get me started on like we have no attentions anymore and this and that. But that's also the other thing. It's like you got to just the volume has to be even more. All right. On that note, I love you guys. Thanks for
Bro,
listening to me ramble. I gotta
dude,
put this guy.
thank you so much, Dad. Bro, we'll be in
Of course.
touch. I might do some content with this. I'll hit you up about that. But dude, thank you
Yeah,
so
hit
much
me
for
up
being here.
whenever. And then anybody in the chat, like my handle's London Bridge Music on Instagram. That goes directly to me. Hit me up with whatever. Happy to listen to music, give feedback. If you want to come to a show, if you're in town in one of the places we're doing, like hit me up. My door's open. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang and listen. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Later, bro.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you.